Guys, I'm convinced that Carp actually got teary-eyed during that tangent when he was answering Dan Ives towards the end. He actually started like stutter up, get teary-eyed. I felt it in my heart. It was like a beautiful moment. Even towards the end when he was saying the goodbyes, I also felt like in his voice he started like shaking. He got like teary-eyed. I was hands down. This is not even close. This is the best quarterly. Not only earnings numbers wise, but the best call. Like the way he entered in, like, should we even have a call? And I honestly, I was like, yeah, what?
Are we changing to the rule of 70? They just made a new bar.
Everything was beautiful.
Yeah, there's a lot of numbers to get into and stuff. I don't think this is the time for it, to be honest. I think the time for it is probably Palantir Weekly because there's just so much to discuss. I think I'd rather spend the last 20 minutes of this kind of just discussing emotions, not only with everyone on the panel, but also in the chat. Obviously, right now, guys, the stock is at 103. I mean, this is life-changing money, like retirement type of money for people that took a chance on this company a couple years ago, even if you took a chance early 2024. And it's pretty incredible. I'll give my quick takeaway from the call, and then I want to go around the room. I think Carp crushed it. I think the big thing we got out of that call was a vision for the future, and a vision for the future in which Palantir does it their way and continues to do it their way. And I mean, I think that sums it up. Like, Palantir did it their way. They never capitulated to get into the S&P 500. The S&P 500 realized that they need Palantir. They never capitulated to get this type of commercial growth through the steak dinners, PowerPoints. They're getting this growth because the product is so good. And they never capitulated to the analysts. The analysts now will probably send out a bunch of upgrades tomorrow because the analysts have to upgrade it because they've been so wrong on the story. So I think Palantir has consistently done it their way. They've built something authentic in a world in which authenticity is very hard to find. This is a company that embodies it. And as a result, the stock market is rewarding the people that took a chance on this company a long time ago and the insiders that work so damn hard to get this company to be where it is. Dom, your takeaway from earnings.
Yeah, just we're doing it. We're doing it. I mean, just so proud, man. As a shareholder, dude, there's just a feeling of patriotism too for what they stand for and protecting our rights, our country, our citizens. I'm a proud shareholder, and man, it's just getting started. Just blown away. And I just think it's that culture, it's that enthusiasm, it's that drive that you can just see, and how Sham and him were just spitting fire. And also they're fiscally responsible. They only hire the best of the best. So just thrilled.
Arnie, your take after that call.
Emotion as well can be I think my emotion as well can be summarized by this picture of Carp. Like, this is the picture of a man who fought for 20 years against everybody. Everybody shitted on him, but he was so convinced of his vision, and now finally people are accepting that.
Arnie, you are so right about this, dude. There is something uniquely American around the underdog story. That's why all the tech companies and all the big entrepreneurship stories exist in America. And to see someone who like went through hell for 20 years and then went through hell as soon as his stock went public because it went up 300%, then came down 80%. When he said we're doing it to retail investors, I think he felt very, very emotional because he knew a lot of us took a chance at $6-7, and here we are today.
Look, I remember I felt like that when we started seeing the first signs that Palantir was actually making that. Like the first gap earnings with like a plus 15%. Like that was already for me life-changing money. And something that I was personally not expecting to happen this strongly, that fast. So seeing this story is truly unbelievable. Also because we are part of this story. It's not like one of those companies where you just throw money at them. Here, I feel involved, obviously, because I'm a creator also, but I truly believe in the story. And
to Carp's credit, he wants us to feel involved. Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, no one spends as much time as he spent talking about retail investors every single time they end off the call with that question. What do you have to say to retail investors? Every time he makes sure to spend 5 minutes actually explaining that he cares about us. And I think they incorporate us into the story.
Have you ever seen a CEO actually happy in an earnings call? Like, well, maybe Musk, but apart from these two guys, earnings calls tend to be just boring. This one is a revolution, even the earnings call per se. So I'm excited, but I'm also very proud to share this journey with the employees, with the management, but also with all of you.
Vince, your raw thoughts off this call.
So first of all, them explaining ontology on the earnings call means in 2025 means that we're still very early with the company. By far the best earnings calls I have been on. Hats off to everyone. I think Dan Ives asked very stupid questions. I don't understand what his point was asking. Are you surprised how fast your customers are ordering? But Mariana asked really good questions. They cleared up that Doge is very bullish for the company. They are investing in engineers. That was very important for me to hear, because we were talking about if they should do buybacks or where they should invest with the money. And I don't mean to be the party pooper here, but I did calculate out the guidance. And in my calculation, they're guiding for about 29% revenue growth next year. Maybe I'm wrong. And the adjusted margin is also like level as they are now. So I think it's a fantastic moment, but we will have some quarters now coming that will be very tough comps to what has been.
Well, especially this Q4 will be hard to beat.
Yeah,
Didn't they spread out the SARs too, guys? Like the 45 million was this quarter, but the SARs impact was 131 million. So based off of that, it looks like they're going to spread it out as kind of what you guys were hinting
No.
at.
Total expense was 119. They expensed 115 of that, so there's 4 million to go, and the other 16 was actually tax as related to that. So there's still 4 million to go only.
That, we don't even have to worry about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and 4 million is nothing. It's
nothing.
Yeah.
Amir, your raw take, or you're Matt, you're gonna go? Your raw take on this call?
Amir can go.
Okay.
Look, I always say that when it comes to investing, I have like this psycho approach, as Arnie likes to call it. No emotions, and that won't change for how I allocate capital in business. But I can't lie, like it's hard not to feel it in my heart when Carp speaks so passionately, emotionally. I mean, that is me he's talking about. That is us. Everyone in the chat, you guys, he's talking about us, like straight to us. He's like tearing up. That was such a special moment. I think we all collectively need to savor this moment, because that was something special. As I said, like there is no point to talk about like minuscule details in the numbers. There are some things I like small things I didn't like. We will get to that in due time. But I mean, what an amazing quarter, amazing call. And yeah, if there's one bearish thing, I agree. It was like that knives on his victory stroll. Like this most pointless question. Like we have two analysts. He's like out on his victory stroll. Can barely hear him. Like, are you guys surprised like that people sign deals with you? I'm like, come on, Dan. We have two chances here. Mariana is sneaky. She got in like, okay, my first question, my second, but she knows that she's only allowed one, so she's always sneaky with those. But yeah, man, truly, really savor this moment, because this was truly special. I doubt, I would be surprised if I ever have such a quarter where I feel like emotionally attached to what's happening the way I did in this call. Like this was truly special to me.
Yeah, Dan was obviously utilizing his house phone to schedule Midtown Manhattan dinner at Dorsia. For those of you guys that know what that is, but yeah, I think I want to take a more lighthearted approach. I mean, I know I've been hampering on the fact that the company is stretched in terms of valuation and everything the like, but I want to relay the fact that this company is now hovering with the stock price at about $103 a share, with the 2.5 billion outstanding, hovering around 250 billion a share. Sorry, $250 billion in total market cap. Now, I want to label a bunch of companies that are also labeled around there. And just, I want everyone to think about how monumental these companies have been with respect to shaping the American economy. And I want you to now think about how early of stages we are within Palantir's growth story, and tell me that you don't think that this is a $1 trillion company in the making. So for those of the people that are listening, we are now bigger than IBM, Cisco, around the same market capitalization of Merck, Wells Fargo, Chevron, T-Mobile, and we're a little bit smaller than Coca-Cola. But if you think about the American economy and how large those companies have been in business, how long they've been in business, how large they are in terms of their scale worldwide, and how much they've meant to growing the American economy. And now you think about this company, company called Palantir that was established in the early 2000s, less than 25 years ago, and where it is today and where it will be within 10, 20, 30 years. You can't tell me that this won't be a $1 trillion company.
I would tend to agree.
And they're only doing it with 3,900 employees.
They're only
Dude,
doing
show me another company that's doing that with 3,900 employees. I don't think there is one.
What are you guys feeling in the chat? I mean, there's a lot of comments here, but I imagine this is, I mean, dude, this is like the amount of money that this is worth to people, especially because people have averages well below $20. I mean, this is more than life-changing. This is, I mean, Arnie, you mentioned it as well. This is different, dude. This is stuff you only get once in a lifetime, you could argue, if you're lucky enough to find it. And it's happening right now.
And look, this story is truly making me like a course, a master's degree that is worth 1,000 times the master degree I actually got in finance, because this is a true path towards excellence in terms of seeing a company from early days to how it evolves and how it thinks. And the struggling thing is you realize that with this kind of companies, it's truly important to look at the financials, the metrics, and so on. But those are important to understand how the machine works. After you understand how the machine works and you are confident that there are signals that the machine can improve going forward, as I think all of us did a very good job when the stock was very destroyed below $10. At that point, I think it was truly important to really dig into the little little details that gave us the confidence. Okay, the narrative is trash. The numbers right now are not excellent, but there are certain things, the things that matter, that are improving. And if we combine that with an evolving story, we can be set for a better future. Now, I think it is truly important to be aware of the risks of the valuation, because it is fair to say that when we reach these levels this fast, there is a valuation risk. But at the same time, we truly see how if the story evolves and evolves much better than analysts expect, than even us expect, then that is the key driving force. So right now we are seeing the effect of the full interest in AI literally converging to Palantir, as we were discussing at Palantir Weekly. So good job also to us.
Vince, go ahead.
No, Dom just has retired midstream.
Yeah, Dom had to leave, guys, so he's out. Probably has to go look at his brokerage and see what's going on there. Yeah, dude, this is kind of crazy, man. This is, I don't know.
We puff.
I mean, there's not many stocks that can create a. The one thing I think I've consistently said over the past couple of years is that the biggest thing we're going to get from Palantir is not the money, it's not the gains, even though that is life changing. It's the relationships, it's the friendships. At the end of the day, you can't take the money with you when you die. You only have the memories, right? And so, I mean, Arnie came to my house last year. You know, this is a guy from Italy. I never thought a guy from Italy would be at my house and
I touched the bricks, guys. You don't.
And they're real, right, Arnie?
They're real.
Yeah, I don't really understand why
He felt
everybody
the
says,
grit. He felt the grit of the bricks in his hands.
Just for the record, is that your house or your mom's house?
Okay, it's not my house, but this is my parents' house. But maybe with Palantir gains, I might be buying a new house pretty soon, you know. But no, it's just the fact that Arnie was helping my mom with dinner. I mean, like these are relationships that are going to last forever, you know. And Arnie, I know Arnie and I, when Palantir was $9, we had a Zoom call because me and Arnie were getting a lot of shit, and you know the sentiment was bad. And Arnie, you remember the Zoom call? It was like 2 hours. It was like 2 a.m. into the night. We were just like, just stick to the plan. We know this is going to play out, and eventually, you know, things will change. And thankfully, Palantir executed, and here we are. And so,
and that's why now we are like Carpa, yeah, because we literally lived the story. Like we were literally full time into this. Like our margin of error was we can't have a margin.
We couldn't be wrong. We kind of all of us here kind of risked our reputation on like, all right, let's see if we can get Palantir right. And I think from 6 to 100, I think the story, and the crazy thing is if it's just beginning, I mean, as Matt said, you know, if we're going to 1 trillion, this thing is just getting started. All right. Anyone have any final comments? Amir, Matt, anybody?
No, just for fun. I saw some questions in the comments. Not to put a damper on whatever is happening, but we are currently like $105 per share implies that Palantir will do $123 billion of revenue in 234. It can happen, but that's essentially 45% growth every year until 2034, and that's a 35% margin. Just you know, temper the expectation. Amazing victory day, victory laps for everyone. But as Arnie said, there's basically no risk to the business that I can see, but I see a lot of risk in the stock price. To be like a bit realistic, yeah, it is kind of extended. Amazing quarter, but still, I mean, it is up there for sure.
Arnie, what is your take on the stock price question? Because I think we've been having a conversation over the past couple months, which is that even at 35, all of us were like, all right, $85 billion. Then it got to 50. We're like, all right, 100. And then it got to 70. We're like, so at some point, either the market's going to agree the multiple is ridiculous, or the market is going to go in line with a qualitative assessment of the business, which I think is clearly laid out in this example. If OpenAI is going for 350 and they don't make a profit and they might be commoditized, as Sean was saying when he was talking about Sam Altman, then maybe the thing that is actually growing is profitable and has real use cases. And it's just beginning, in the words of Karp. We're not saying it's just beginning. Karp is saying it's just beginning. That could be worth much, much more. Arnie, how do you think the street's going to resolve the valuation versus the qualitative assessment of Palantir debate?
Look, this connects also with what I was saying before, that the more I study, the more I realize how little I understood into investing into these kind of generational companies. I famously reduced my share back then at around 12. Then I also added again, but I made some mistakes along the way. And the key mistakes were mainly because I was essentially scared that even if I was happy, like very convinced on the business, I was very fearful that maybe the short-term results were not as good as the stock was implying. So I realized that with this kind of companies, it's truly, truly important to have the right position size. Now, I'm perfectly happy with how I am right now, because I know I have a position that if there is a very big spike like the one that is happening, I'm very happy. If the stock on the other side got crushed, I would have been perfectly happy as well. So now the question is, what's now on the valuation and how it can be perceived? Personally, what I expect right now is the narrative to just keep compounding. It is true that based on the financial numbers that are here right now, Palantir may look at overpriced. But I think people can easily make the same mistake I essentially did when I trimmed at around $12. And the reason is, yes, the valuation is high based on the current financials. So maybe it makes sense not to be like overexposed. In my case, like I was almost all in. So for me, it was also a way to be financially secure into, okay, I need to save some cash because I need to save my opportunity to keep doing what I'm doing. But I think all the people that now obsess too much with, okay, my DCF tells me it is overpriced, could pay the consequences into not waiting enough the effects of the enormous tailwind. And as I was saying, probably right this now is neither a tailwind, it's literally a tornado that is affecting the company. And now you see a feedback loop between, okay, Palantir is perceived as a great company, as a great operating company, but also as a successful company that now companies are literally trying to replicate. Even OpenAI just opened a position as a forward deployment engineer into civil works. It's like the world is accepting that the way Palantir tried to build a path is actually the right path, and everybody is now converging to that. This means that Palantir is perceived as the leader, and if Palantir is perceived as the leader, they actually have good reasons for being a leader. This triggers further interest from all the potential clients that maybe heard of Palantir back then, maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, when the narrative was, this is a controversial company. I don't really want to deal with a controversial company. But guess what? Everybody wants to deal with a successful company. Everybody wants to deal with an influencer when it is rocketing right now. I mean, tell me, how many people now want to interact with you, and how little people wanted to interact with you when Palantir was considered as crap. So when people perceive
by
success,
the way, John just tweeted this, so hope everyone's enjoying that. He's wearing the knitted hat from Scarlett. It was an absolute sweetheart. But
that's amazing.
To your point, Arnie, more people care, and even David Glazer mentioned they're getting more inbound because more people care.
And look, the key difference, like even this is something I underscored, but I think is truly important to underscore it again. Palantir had a moment of peak visibility in 2020, 2021, when it became a meme, okay? But that's not the kind of attention you want. And even more importantly, the company didn't have a way to process, to make that visibility into value. Now, Palantir does have that, because a new customer is interested in literally weeks or just a couple of months. They could be up and running and starting spending big, seeing the results, triggering network effects within that company very, very fast, and creating network effects also with all the other connections Palantir has. So I truly believe that this moment is unique, and the fact that everything screams Palantir is a champion actually makes it a champion, and this helps furthermore the financial results. And that is something that the analysts that are too much into the numbers, like that Brett Hill, all the guys that are still stuck to a $20, $30 per share as a target, don't really digest, because they're financial analysts, and there's a reason why they're financial analysts and not investors.
There you go.
The last thing I want to say, this is not necessarily specific towards Palantir, but just in general, just always a reminder to think about your financial goals and understand, this is a very large update for a lot of people, 20-25% for some people today alone, specifically on a Palantir position. I heard several people talk about how they have millions of dollars within the stock. And once again, congratulations to all of you. But just never lose sight of the objective as to why you're investing, right? Are you doing it specifically for getting to $3-4 million and then you're out of the game? Or are you looking to potentially buy a house to spend more time with your family, etc.? So just what I want is, I think sometimes with this, people sometimes forget about the real reason why we are investing in the first place. And this is an opportunity for you to revisit those goals, and take some retrospective action to say, hell, I've made $500,000, $1 million on this. And we've always talked about going on that trip to X, Y, and Z. Go take that trip, because that's where the real lives are real memories are made, and that's why we invest in the first place, right? So my goals are different. I don't really have any big wild dreams. My goal is to still chase the 8 figures, so I'm not selling a fucking dime. But at the end of the day, just remember what and why you did what you did by investing in Palantir in the first place, and don't lose sight of that.
I just want to say quick shout out to myself and everyone else. Go follow everyone on X. If you do happen to go to my X, there's a lot of charts up for everyone to see. I was posting throughout. So if you want some visualization, feel free to go there, and also visit everyone's X while you're at it.
Everyone's socials are linked in the description, so everyone can check it out. I'm going to be on for another 20 minutes because I've got a lot of super chats that I've got to read, but everyone else can leave. I'm going to ring the bell for this earnings, but not only for this earnings, we hit a new all-time high after hours at 104. So congratulations to everyone on Palantir earnings. All right. There we go.
This rank.
All right, thank you so much, everyone.
Really tastes well.
Agreed. All right, guys. I'll be on for a little bit. I'll see you guys later.
See you on weekly, guys.
See you guys on weekly. Bye-bye, everybody.